Okay. Okay. Okay, good evening and welcome to council. Monday, January 9th, 2017. Called the meeting to order at 7 p.m. And as usual, we'll start off this year with our New Year's safety share and the resolutions. Jaylene is going to give us an overview of this. Councillor, please.
Okay. New Year's safety resolutions. The new year is fast approaching, and just like the most of us, we know you are fuzzing to come up with lists of resolutions too. Our resolutions mostly focus on health, financial literacy, and overall wellness, but have you thought about your safety? Yes, safety, the single most important aspect of your professional and personal life. This year, why not make a list of resolutions to help you improve your safety and improve the quality of your life? To help you get started, we have come up with a list of safety resolutions you should start committing to. I will not text and drive. We are all guilty of giving our phones a glimpse while driving, a bad habit we need to start breaking now. Texting and driving is not only sacrifices your personal safety, but also those you meet along the way. Make sure to reserve all communications before and after you hit the road. Revisit the urge to respond to that text. I will actively participate in safety trainings in the workplace. Safety trainings are great opportunities for you to help make a more conducive work environment for yourself and your coworkers. Make the most out of the various safety training programs being carried out in your workplace and see what you can do to help make it a better environment for everyone. I will raise concerns about my safety. If you are an employee, it is important for you to feel safe within your workplace. If there is anything you see or feel that threatens your well-being, voice it out and demand they do something about it. Let your employers know that improving the safety measures in the workplace makes a more productive and healthy employee, which means better business. I will wash my hands more often. This harsh weather makes it easy to catch a flu. That is why committing to washing your hands more often is a great safety resolution to make. By washing your hands, you are preventing millions of germs from spreading and possibly afflicting you and your loved ones. Keeping a hand sanitizer at your arm's reach is also a good idea if you are always out and about. This makes for a more convenient way to win against the common causes of flu and cough. I will beef up my home security. When it comes to home security, it is always a good idea to be extra careful. Give your home a thorough look and upgrade the security in areas you deem fit. Also, this is a good time to get everyone on the same page when it comes to handling intruders and unknown guests.
Great, thanks for that, Councillor Bowman, and we'll move right into the regular part of the meeting. Any additions or deletions to the agenda? Hearing none. I do have a motion here that council hereby accepts the agenda for Monday, January 9th, 2017, regular meeting of council as circular amended. Moved by Councillor Lake, seconded by Councillor Fox. Any questions? Hearing none, call question, all in favor? Carried, thank you. Any disclosure of interest this evening? Hearing none. I do have a motion here that council hereby adopts minutes of the regular meeting of council were held on Monday, December 19th, 2016 as circular amended. Moved by Councillor Lake, second by Councillor Tabushi.
Your Worship, just one correction
Yes.
on the minutes with the mover and seconder.
Okay.
9A, under administration, 2017 fees and charges. The last sentence should read, members requested monthly golf fees be removed
Yes.
from the
thank you.
fees and service charges for additional research, and monthly golf fees will be approved separately in 2017.
Okay. All good? That'll be discussed sometime in the spring of 2017, correct? Okay. That being said, I'll call a question. All in favor? Carried with that correction. Thank you. Okay, no the delegation this evening, obviously. Council reports, nothing. Student council reports, Councillor Bowman.
I'm just going to talk about the TED Talks that are happening at Marathon High School on Wednesday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. And we will have community guest speakers and our grade 11 and 12 speakers and speakers from Pick River Elementary School.
Great, thank you. Councillor Stone, do you have anything?
In about 2 weeks, on the 27th, exams will start, so it's going to be fun. A lot of people are either very excited or very nervous, is more likely. So, yeah, it's happening.
Okay, thank you. Nothing else in that regards? Anything else from council?
Just, you
Councillor
said
Fox?
TED reports?
TED Talks, yes.
What does TED mean?
It's actually for their like awareness talks kind of thing. So they one of them mine was about smoking awareness, and some of them are about like keeping calm and different things like that. And then we have like a competition in our class, and the best ones get to move on, so that the town gets to hear all of the best TED Talks or the most interesting.
Good, good.
Public's welcome.
Public's welcome?
Public is welcome.
Good.
When is that?
Wednesday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Listen to CFNO for more details.
Okay, anything else? Okay. Hearing none, I'll go on to the next report, and that's a report on the Corporate Strategic Plan for 2016, Progress Report. Darrell?
All right, thank you, Your Worship. So the Town of Marathon Strategic Plan was endorsed by Council in December of 2015. The plan identifies the Town of Marathon's goals over that time frame and really focusing on 5 key themes: lifestyle quality, infrastructure and environment, economy, fiscal sustainability, and progressive leadership and collaboration. A component of the plan is to complete regular performance reviews and present them to Council. This is the year to report to Council. Some of the highlights from 2016, specifically around project development, include completion of the liquefied natural gas feasibility and socioeconomic studies and preparation of the natural gas access loan program application and financial model. Completion of the new active living center and recreation complex functional plan, as well as a best-in-class review, financial analysis, site selection, and public consultation. And on that note, the public consultation will be scheduled for the last week of January. There'll be lots of notice to the public for that. And then a final report to Council in February of 2017. Completion of the new works garage and yard functional plan, which was completed in December 2015. Completion of the Penn Lake Road resurfacing project. Happy to say it came in under budget. Submission of an application to the Ministry of Economic Development and Growth for mill site investment certification. Successful operation of the Information Center through a partnership with Bictagong, and this was a Marathon Economic Development Corporation initiative. Continued support for healthcare professionals recruitment, and this is a partnership between the North Superior Healthcare Group, Marathon Family Health Team, and Barrick Gold. A review and update of the municipality's 10-year capital renewal plan. Development of the Penn Lake Circumference Trail. Submission of an application to the Ministry of Energy Microfit Program for a solar energy development project. And submission of funding applications to the Ontario Community Infrastructure Fund for infrastructure development, specifically around water and sewer, and as well as submission to the Clean Water and Wastewater Fund for major infrastructure projects that are contained within our 10-year capital plan. All the projects identified in the plan have been or will be included in yearly municipal budgets as identified. And your administration presents this report for Council's information and questions. Thank you.
Great. Anybody have any questions of that? Councillor Lake.
I guess it certainly has been a very busy year for administration, and congratulations on keeping all those balls in the air. Another one that I know administration has been deeply involved in has been the supportive housing project. It's not on that list, but I do just want to say, as a member of that board, how thankful I am that administration's put in the time they have to move that project forward. I think if it weren't for the time that has been off the side of your desk, it certainly wouldn't be moving forward at all. So.
Yeah,
It's not
thanks.
on the list.
My oversight. It's certainly one of the projects that's taken a lot of administration's time, but I think it's exciting because we're moving the yardsticks forward on that project, and they're coming to the point where the potential of shovels in the ground is becoming real.
Anything else on their report?
The OPP should be on there of some sort, shouldn't it? I mean, administration did a lot of follow-up.
Sorry.
Trying to figure out what was going on.
Theoretically, it could be on the list. We've been asked by Infrastructure Ontario to
Not have it on the list? Okay.
not have it on the list.
Deep secret again?
I wouldn't say it's a deep secret.
Okay.
I would just say they operate differently than we do.
Okay. You didn't hear that, public.
Okay, so with that being said, nobody else has anything else? Thank you for that, Darrell, and we look forward to 2017, working through many of those projects that we've already started through a strategic planning process in 2016, and working closely with administration and, of course, the residents of the town of Marathon to keep them participating in all those adventurous type programs and projects that we got on the go. So, next up on the items, we have discussion in regards to a request has been received from Thunder Bay District Social Services Administration Board, and I do have a motion here. So I'll open the motion on the floor, and then we get into discussion. Council hereby supports the attached resolution received by the Thunder Bay District Social Service Administration Board regarding DSAB composition, and further that a copy of the motion be forwarded to the individual listed on the original resolution. Moved by Councilor Lake, seconded by Councilor Fox. Okay, open the floor for discussion. Councilor Lake.
So can I just, for the student counselors, I think
Sure.
there's probably a little background that needs to go on there. Maybe I'll
Okay.
ask administration. First of all, the acronym DSAB, I'm
Okay.
sure you don't know what that is. What they do, and then maybe some of the background.
So our DSAB is based out of Thunder Bay, which represents both Thunder Bay and the region, and it's the District Social Services Administration Board. So it really looks after social services on behalf of the entire region. It's provincially funded as well as funded by the municipalities that it represents. So if we look at Marathon, really some key areas that it funds in Marathon. Housing is one of them. A lot of rent-geared income housing, daycare, as well as senior support services. Missing anything, Your Worship?
Yeah, well, Ontario Works.
Ontario Works.
The big one.
Ontario Works is like a system of support for individuals who are in between jobs or can't go to work, and so it's a program that supplements their income. Anywhere from $565 a monthly to as high as probably $1,800, depending on the circumstances, amount of children in the household, or in the relationship of the individual or individuals that are receiving that benefit. And,
So those are all services that the municipality doesn't offer. They're offered through that administration board, and individuals from our communities deal directly with the DSAB as opposed to the municipality.
Yeah, and those are all services that the municipality used to provide, and except for the social housing aspect, and they amalgamated all those by finding it easier and better for being under one roof. So it's another layer of governance is what it really is.
That's what it is.
And it just
And so it's in Thunder Bay, and Thunder Bay gets the most votes on the board because they're the biggest municipal or city in the area. And so this resolution is about trying to make it fair for the small communities around Thunder Bay to have a little bit more say in what's going on.
So it gives a bit more power to your voting or something, or a bit more?
Right now, we split our vote with Manitouwadge. And is it every
4 years.
4 years.
So right now, Manitouwadge holds the seat for 4 years and does the voting for us. And then in 4 years, it will come back to Marathon. Councillor Tabushi was the last
Marathon representative.
Marathon representative. So it's a bad system for us in lots of ways. And we use less of their services. So.
We also would like to see more discussion around it. Our current representation, we don't discuss a lot with. So, when we receive information, quite often it's secondhand with the monthly reports.
So that's the background.
Just
Councilor Debussy?
some of the other information. We always have privy to the agenda that's coming up, so there is the onus, I guess, on ourselves to become more aware of what's going on here. The issue is that we went into a DSAB situation because we couldn't come to a mutual agreement among the all communities to figure out how to govern the social services, and it was an offshoot. Other jurisdictions have what's called county seats or county governments, where they elect people for those positions. In Northern Ontario, we couldn't agree on coming to a compromise to get into that situation, so we defaulted into what's a DSAP. And then by doing that, they just lumped communities together. Terrace Bay Scriber has one representative, Marathon Manitouwadge has a representative, Nipigon Red Rock Dorian has a representative. And so they balanced it out that there's 6 seats for Thunder Bay, 6 seats for the district, and 1 for the unincorporated. The unincorporated, for a lot of municipalities, used to think that they got a free ride because they only paid land use taxes and education tax, yet they were able to get all the services from their surrounding communities. That's kind of changed because the government's clawed back a lot of the things that we used to have to pay for. So it's gotten better as a financial burden on communities, and hopefully after this term of the current government, it may be all uploaded, hopefully, okay? But right now, it's a default situation, so it's it's a situation where not everybody's happy. And obviously, Area 1, which represents 6 communities, are quite unhappy because if they go on the 4-year rotation, a community wouldn't see a representative for 24 years, or for 12 years, 24 years, actually. But some of these communities only have 400 people in that group. So, you know,
But they're asking to go from 1 seat
to 2,
To three
to
seats.
3.
and that's what we're debating. That's some good background.
And it could be very confusing in regards to the process because Councillor Debuchy actually hits the nail on the head on a few aspects, but the reality is that the Southern Ontario governance model is a 2-tier governance model. So because of that, the county already uploads the representation for the municipalities onto the county governance. So the county governance then takes care of the DSABs and the social services, the LINs, which is the local integrated health network, and so on. So it's a totally different model in the south compared to the north. But Councillor Lake made mention of the 1 to 3, and Councillor Debuchy made mention of that as well. This represents 6 municipalities in the district of Thunder Bay, surrounding the city of Thunder Bay. So they're asking for more representation to represent those 6 municipalities rather than just one representation. So the question is, and I'll read the resolution that with respect to the memorandum of the board member, Member Verderamo, dated December 16, District of Thunder Bay Social Service Administration Board, call upon the Minister of Community Social Services to amend Schedule 6 of the regulation 278-98 to increase the representation of the municipalities comprising of Area 1 from 1 board member to 3 board members, and that the rotation of these 3 members for Area 1 be determined by those 6 municipalities. So as was just mentioned, there would be 1 rotation every 24 years. Now it'll be 3 members, so there'll be a good coverage over a 4-year
4 years
period.
each, they would get a
Each one to get a representation, so. And as far as I believe for the district, it represents more members for the district, so it gives us an opportunity to have more discussion about the benefits for the district rather than just the city, even though the city probably comprises about 90-95% of the services within the housing and the Ontario Works, as well as daycare and seniors support. So there's definitely more money, and the relationship with the city is very important, but we also like to have our voice heard. Any questions? Councillor Debuchy.
Okay. I'm going to speak against this motion. The first reason why is I understand their feeling, I guess, of lack of representation, but when you factor in that there's really only 2 communities with populations over, I'll say 2,000, or 3 communities, I guess, with over 3,000 people, their representation isn't skewed that as badly as they may think. The other reason, and I'll speak from my past membership, because this was voted down when I was a member, and they brought it back to the new board, was that they feel that for the amount of money and assessment they have and they're paying, they're not getting their value for the services. And my argument to them was, you should be thankful you don't need to use these services. You should be thankful you don't have a big budget for Ontario Works, or members of your community have to access those, or social assistance, or whatever it may be. And the idea that I put forward was the same thing, I'll say education tax. Just because I don't have kids in school, does that mean I shouldn't have to pay education tax? No, it's a burden that everyone should bear because it benefits all of society. The idea from going from 1 to 3, okay, to represent the 12,000 people that are roughly in that area, I understand the lack of representation, but the system is broken, or the system isn't perfect. And if they want to look at a solution, then they should be looking at the whole solution of the issues and the outlying areas, because we feel on the outlying areas, and when I've sat on the board, that a lot of the programming was Thunder Bay centric. And I understand that because they pay 85% probably of the cost. But the idea behind it is we have a bare minimum service that we have to provide, or the DSAP has to provide. But everything above that was supposed to go to the area and voted on by the municipalities, because it's changing the structure or the governance of what they're doing. But they've been able to find ways to slide it into either social assistance or education or something other way to get it through. And it's, I won't say creative accounting, because it does fall within the mandate, but it's exceeding the minimum requirements that I'll say they're mandated to provide. So by doing this, I know it'll provide some more power to the outlying areas, okay? but it's still Thunder Bay centric, because all we've done is we've expanded the Thunder Bay power source or issues another 20 kilometers. Okay, so I think if they're seriously looking at going to the provincial government and asking them to relook at this, then to get the input from all the communities, Manitouwadge, Marathon, Greenstone. Greenstone has a land base that's the second biggest in Ontario, yet they have one representative. This is communities that are around a 20-kilometer radius around Thunder Bay. If you expanded it another 20 kilometers, it would catch all those people. So I think that if they're looking seriously going to approach the government, then approach it with a solution that answers everybody's problems, not just the Area 1 problem. And that's what I spoke for when I was on a board, and this is what I'll speak for as a community who has to share with another community for every 4 years.
Okay. Anything else? Councillor Lake?
From your, Councillor Debussy, given your experience on the board, do you feel like that sort of solution, there's any appetite for it, or is this the best we can get right now in terms of?
I was surprised when they had, because obviously they must have called for a recorded vote because it was part of their minutes, that so many people in Thunder Bay actually supported this resolution. If you can see by the vote, they have 6 representatives, and they could have controlled it just by the 6, but 3 of the councillors decided to support this resolution. Is this an appeasement to Area 1? I 100% agree, or I feel, at least my opinion is, they're doing this so they'll send it to the provincial government, and the provincial government will say no. They're letting the provincial government do the dirty work. My concern is, if they send this to the provincial government and they say yes, then what do communities like Marathon, Terrace Bay, Manitouwadge, Scriber, now what do? They now have 3 representatives and we still only have 1. If it's a bad solution, if it's a bad problem about representation, then let's get the right solution and move it forward to the government, not a compromise situation and hope it gets turned down.
Okay. Anything else? So just quickly before we call a vote on it, I spoke to the Mayor of Shunya and asked what the opinion was, and a lot of it was to do with the population base on those 6 communities. If you look at the numbers on the second last page in the enclosures, it talks about the 12,300 roughly residents in them areas of 6 communities that are represented by one Area 1. And then you look at all the others, like for example, Marathon, Manitouwadge, combined 5,400 people representation by 1 member. That was their argument. The city of Thunder Bay has 1 member for 18,000 representations of the residents. So they wanted to have more representation to be more fair and equitable as part of their population base, not so much the services that are provided for their communities, it was more for the base of the population. That was part of the argument. So it's 12,300 people for 1 representation.
But if you looked at those community numbers there, Mayor, you would notice that there really is only one community that skews everything, and that's Oliver Papoonge. So if it was to be fair, or to be even to make it more representative of population demographics, then 1 would be the answer, where Oliver Papoonge gets 1 example or 1 vote, and then the other 3. They may decide that Oliver Papoonge gets 1 every year because they have such a big, huge population base. Okay, but the idea behind it is Shunya, with only basically 3,000 people, has just as much assessment base. Okay,
Probably bigger.
Okay, so the idea behind it is there is no fair solution or better solution or whatever it may be, but the idea behind it is they're doing this to solve an area from one area that complained. Okay, they said they wouldn't accept anything but 4. Okay, there was a compromise when they talk about having 1 more person, but they wanted 4. And I understand the representation about once every 4 years or 24 years or whatever it may be, but the idea behind it is this isn't a perfect model. It was never a perfect model because we couldn't agree on a perfect model. So this is what we have, and this is what we have to live for. If we're going to go to the provincial government and ask for a change, then let's make it the right change.
Okay, so we have the resolution. Those came from the DSAB board through their membership right now, and the board is asking us for whether or not we support the resolution. Is based on the submission they're going to submit to provincial government, which is asking for Area 1 for 2 additional members. That's the resolution we're voting on tonight. So with that being said, any other questions? I'll call.
Yeah, what is the right decision? Because Kelly, you're saying we don't have the right one.
We don't, but
Right
this is
solution
not,
right now.
yeah, but from, at least in my opinion, this isn't the right one. If they want to settle, then pull all the other communities. Don't just appease number 1. Talk to us, because we were never ask as a community other than through this resolution. And maybe this is our answer. We say no to this, Terrace Bay says no to this, and we go to them in the next meeting and said, come up with a better solution.
Okay.
But again, Councillor DeBouche, you know very well that the representation from Marathon is Manitou's rep, and the councillor in Manitowoc has not brought this forward to Marathon. And the minutes were all passed, each and every one of us council members, to discuss. We've never discussed it. So the resolution is in front of us. We either vote for or against this resolution. The decision that DSAB makes going forward is up to the DSAB board with the representation that we have through
They're just
Manitowoc.
polling us
Yeah.
right now. And
Yeah.
this is from. and
This
this-
resolution, so we're voting on this resolution right now. If we pass, it goes forward. If we, Councillor Lake?
Well, and the bottom line will be if this resolution passes, then there's more votes outside of Thunder Bay than there is inside.
Absolutely, that's one of the big
To me,
things I look
To
at.
me, that's the key, because
Yeah.
the balance of power lies with the outlying municipalities.
Exactly. I look at that as a favorable resolution as well. Okay, so with that being said, I'll call a question. All in favor? Opposed? So it's a defeated, I'm in favor, so it's defeated with a tie. Okay? Okay. Up next, we have discussion in regards to the February OGRA meeting, and we had a preliminary discussion at the municipal matters. So, Daryl, you've submitted the request to the ministers?
Yeah, correct. So earlier, we submitted the request to the ministers. We'll hear back on our delegations about a week before.
Okay.
But really why this is on the agenda is it's a council meeting night for us. So
Right.
both the mayor and myself will be away.
Right.
So what I'm suggesting to council is that we cancel that meeting like we did last year. And we can schedule a special meeting if required with 24 hours notice.
Okay.
It's good for that.
Okay, there's no resolution, just a matter of us changing the date. So we'll advertise that we're changing the date to we're just skipping that meeting completely.
Correct.
If there is a need for a special meeting, we'll call it, but if not, we'll go to the March meeting.
What was the date again?
That'd be the
February 24th.
24th of February.
Correct.
Okay. It's 24th?
24th, 25th, one of those,
Yeah.
2020.
Whatever the Monday is.
Whatever the Monday is, yeah.
I think it's the
fourth
26th.
You might be right.
It's the 26th of February, I think, the Monday.
Yeah, I just know.
27.
2nd
27th,
and
thanks,
4th.
Councilor Debussy, yeah. The 27th of February is the meeting.
We are on the Julian calendar, correct?
Is that 27th was Friday?
Monday, February 27th, council municipal matters and council meeting will be canceled. We'll reschedule as into the March meeting, which would be the 13th of March. And if there's something that needs to be discussed prior to that 13th meeting, we'll call a special meeting of council. Okay?
Correct.
Thank you. Okay, with that being said, I got a couple of announcements. Just want to take the opportunity to thank council for a good year last year. We struggled through some tough decisions we had to make in regards to our 2017 year going forward. I think we're on the right track. We got hopefully the opportunities with the Marathon Pulp site to redevelop. We know we had a bit of an issue with the reassessment of some of our industrial properties. We'll work through that through our budget process. But I think we all look at as 2017 as well as our past 2 years of council. Going forward, the next 2 years will be as positive as the past two. So I want to thank you all for the great year we had, and I look forward to a very prosperous 2017 with the administration staff and the residents of town of Marathon. So thank everybody for that, and I look forward to 2017 being a good year. Also, as you know, we go into the budget process starting this month, so we'll be meeting in the January 23rd timeframe to discuss budget going forward, and that'll be their kind of preliminary discussion for council to look at our budget for 2017. So hopefully we won't have any major surprises, but as I just mentioned, there was some readjustment in industrial tax rate, so that will have an effect on council's budget going forward. Councillor Dumas, Mayor Dumas and CAO Skurczynski is sitting on the ATV committee. We've had an initial meeting. We will go forward with the next meeting that come up in January as well.
Last week of January.
And then we'll be discussing the ATV bylaw. We have a wide range of individuals from the community on that committee, so it's really good. And if anybody else interested out there has comments, by all means, contact Daryl or myself to bring any of your concerns forward. Other than that, anybody else?
Just wish everyone a happy new year.
Okay, good. Okay, we will go into a closed meeting of council. following this meeting, open public meeting, to discuss personnel matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board of employees. So that'll be right directly after this regular meeting of council. So with that being said, I'll call for adjournment. I need a mover and a seconder. Councillor Lake, Councillor Debussy. That we adjourn at the hour of 7:33. Thank you very much and good night.
Good night.
Thank you.